got a call regarding a possible domestic in the area of Arapahoe and Potomac. Deputies were pretty close by, responded immediately. When they arrived, they learned of a possibility of a third person involved who was identified as having a gun and then quickly left the area. Deputies did pursue the vehicle, and he was boxed in by several vehicles here at Arapahoe and Dayton. Deputies tried to get him to exit the vehicle. There was one person inside the car. Tried to get him to exit. He was not cooperative with commands to exit. Deputies attempted to break the window to get him out of the vehicle when he reached for a weapon. Deputies did fire on the suspect. He was transported to an area hospital in an unknown condition at this time.
Anyone else in the car?
There was no other people in the car at the time.
You said he reached for a weapon. What kind of weapon?
That's information for the critical response team to determine. Deputies do believe it was a gun of some sort, a handgun, and certainly as identified by the original witness as well.
You say, were the deputies up to the window of the vehicle trying to get him to come out? Were they yelling from a distance?
I can only imagine probably both. They did attempt to break the window, so I'm sure there were commands from the vehicle, as would be routine on a felony car stop, as well as attempts to get him to exit the vehicle cooperatively.
Were deputies observed to see if they were okay? We heard that one went into an ambulance.
We did have one deputy who received minor injuries. I don't know the cause of those injuries, but he was transported to an area hospital as well.
Do you know how many deputies were involved in the shooting?
I do not at this time.
Like more than one?
Well, we have 3 vehicles at least that were involved in boxing the vehicle in to get it to stop. At this point, obviously there were 3 vehicles involved. I do not know the number of deputies.
This happened right in the road. How much of a threat was he to other people around?
Obviously, anybody who has a gun, we did have felony menacing charges on him initially, hence the pursuit. So obviously our concern is for the community and trying to apprehend him as quickly as possible.
Was there another scene?
Over here first, Rick.
The 2 other people that were, I take it, back at the residence or whatever it may have been at Potomac and Dayton?
Okay, so one, it's not a residence. It is a business there at Arapahoe and Potomac. 2, our investigation obviously is into the initial criminal complaint. So we have 2 aspects of this investigation. One is the officer-involved shooting, which the critical response team handles. That's through the 18th Judicial District Attorney's Office. And the second part is the original criminal complaint, which our investigators will determine really what exactly happened, what was going on. Even though our original calling person indicated that it appeared to be a domestic, we don't know that that's the actual circumstance.
Would that be the menacing then?
From the felony menacing, yes, Rick.
Was the domestic at a store at Arapahoe and Potomac, or was it outside?
I believe the call was outside, but I'd have to verify that. Again, the person calling us was not connected to the incident. They were just observing it. And again, what was originally called in as a domestic may not have in fact been a domestic.
Is the suspect previously known to deputies?
I don't know the name of the suspect, so I cannot determine that at this point.
Was it a man, and how old?
It is an adult male that we transported to the hospital. I do not have an age.
Was the weapon part of that menacing, brandishing a weapon at the original scene?
Yes, that is the felony menacing that occurred.
So that would be threatening somebody with the...
Correct.
That's menacing?
Correct.
So where did the third person come from if it was a domestic involving 2 people?
Again, Rick, I'm saying the call was a domestic. I cannot confirm that that's actually what the circumstances were, and until our investigators are able to get there and determine that that's the case, I don't really know what the actual circumstances are of that original call.
Do you know the nature of the business down there or the name of it?
I believe it was Big O Tires, but again, I don't know if the actual business was involved in the circumstance other than the property.
Where the call came from, the original
Correct.
Call?
Not necessarily from inside. Again, I don't know where the reporting party was calling from.
But that's where deputies were called to.
Correct.
Is anyone in custody involving the supposed domestic?
To my knowledge, we don't have anybody in custody at this time.
Any other civilians involved? That got
Involved in?
Just got caught up in everything that happened?
That I don't know. Obviously part of our investigation as well.
Talk about the impact to this busy area?
The impacts here are tremendous. Obviously, Arapahoe Road is a very busy street at all times of day, and I know we're coming up on the lunchtime, and the road could be closed potentially for hours. So please encourage viewers to use alternate routes until we tweet that the area is open.
Julie, you said local hospitals. Can you tell us where they went?
I will not at this point. Yep. I can't tell you that. I know the call came in at 9:06, and I believe shots fired at 9:15. But as far as when they initially made contact, I don't know that time difference.
We heard 20 shots. Is that accurate or close
That
to
is not
accurate?
anything that I've heard, so I don't know. I don't know where you would have heard that. I just don't know.
Who makes up this task force that'll investigate?
The critical response team, obviously check with the 18th Judicial District Attorney's Office, but there are members from area agencies within the 18th Judicial District. Generally, it's not our deputies or investigators that are part of the team that investigates our own. So by all means, check with the 18th Judicial District on which members are investigating this.
Julie, the 2 times you gave 906, was that the domestic call?
That was the original call that we received to head to the potential domestic, yes.
Did you say if officers have been put on administrative?
I haven't, but obviously routine after any officer-involved shooting, they are placed on paid administrative leave and provided appropriate resources as needed that they may need.
Just to be clear, a gun was found in the suspect vehicle?
That's a critical response team investigation piece, so I don't know that. Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't know. I'm obviously hopeful that it'll be open for rush hour. It just depends on how long the investigation here on scene takes. I know from experience it can take hours, several hours, and we're already a couple into it already. So I'll remain hopeful, but there's no guarantee. We encourage people to check Colorado Traffic, check with your respective organizations, and just monitor Twitter or Facebook. Any other questions?
Is that your drone?
Not that I know of, but it could be. I don't know.